morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Oh, fuck, I can't keep that one in there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, and welcome to another episode of The Red Couch. I hope everyone is doing well, wherever they may be. On today's episode, I want to discuss some trailers that were shown at Paris Games Week. One being Detroit Become Human. I'll start with that one, and then follow up with The Last of Us 2 trailer. I want to focus on this one more because it got the most attention. So, let's start the show! Like I said, let's start with Detroit Become Human. The trailer that was recently shown at Paris Games Week starts with Kara, a household robot. She is to tend the house and carry out chores for her new family of two, a father, Todd, and his daughter, Alice. As the trailer plays out, Kara starts to notice a few things that are a little odd, such as Alice skipping school, or Todd keeping drugs and weapons in drawers. Things start to heat up. An argument brews between Todd and Alice. Alice runs upstairs in fear, and Todd chases after with a belt. It is implied that abuse is about to take place, as Todd commands Kara to wait downstairs. Not long after, with Kara coming upstairs, the trailer shows Alice dead. The trailer then starts to fragment and rewind, as this is a game about decisions. It is now realized that in the game, Kara can make decisions to move. She can run upstairs, lock herself in the room with Alice, and stay safe. She can try and talk to Todd, tell him to calm down. She can grab weapons and fight him. She can escape through the window with Alice into the unknown. The topic of this video game is clearly a tough one. Detroit Become Human is a game that gives you extremely hard decisions. And I know, I can't wait to get my hands on this game. And when I play through this game, I am probably going to try and stop at nothing but to save that girl. But, as a completionist, I know I'm also going to go back and see what happens in different scenarios. And I know I'm going to cry my eyes out when I see that girl die. This is where video games do so great. They can give you so many more questions and then get you to replay over and over and over again, asking you a slightly different question and giving you a different perspective every single time. This game has inevitably brought up the topic again of whether or not games should be able to tackle these hard-hitting questions and issues. I personally feel very strongly about this, and think social politics have a clear place in video games. If you want to see more on what I thought about that, please go check out my other video. I'll leave links in the description and possibly links on the screen. There'll be links everywhere. I want you to watch that video. So secondly, I want to tackle the topic of The Last of Us trailer. The Last of Us is a little bit different to Detroit Become Human because it showed a lot of violence, yes, just like Detroit did. Many people are talking about The Last of Us trailer because it showed its violence without context, and it showed a lot of violence against women. Many articles seem to agree that, at least for the original The Last of Us, they showed more context. They told you what the game would be about, rather than just assaulting people. But did it really? I want to discuss the two trailers in greater depth, because I personally don't think there's that much difference between them. First of all, The Last of Us used to be a new IP. It was a brand new idea. You needed to give much more details to sell something that no one's ever heard of before than you would for The Last of Us 2. Most people that are going to buy this game already know they're going to buy this game. They've probably played the first one or heard the first one was great from friends. So they're not exactly apples for apples. Secondly, if you look at both the first Last of Us trailer and the second Last of Us trailer, I think you'll find that there's not that much difference. Let's analyze how both of these trailers explain the setup for their game. Let's start with the opening images for both trailers. In The Last of Us 1, we see a dead, mangled body laying over a bed, dripping blood. Someone runs past, leaving footprints of blood as they go. In The Last of Us 2 trailer, we see something very similar. The very first images, however, are a woman being dragged. However, the most notable image we remember is when she looks up. She notices corpses hanging above her, mangled with guts falling out. So straight off the bat, these trailers really don't seem much different. We're confronted by brutal imagery straight off the get-go. Let's analyse more. The Last of Us 1 trailer, Ellie, who, remember, at this point we don't know is Ellie yet, because The Last of Us is a brand new idea, runs around a corner and finds two people fighting. Joel, who again, we don't know at this point, wins the fight, beating a man to death with a piece of 2x4. He hits him so hard the piece of lumber snaps in two. Cut back to The Last of Us 2 trailer. Again, we're seeing more violence, but it is no different yet to The Last of Us 1. We see the woman getting pulled up. She's about to be hanged herself. Another lady appears. She pulls a knife out and starts asking questions. Questions that, although don't tell very much, could be context to what's going on in the game. She presses a knife to her stomach. It is shocking imagery, especially as most assume this could be Ellie's mum, the unborn Ellie still being inside this lady. Cut back to The Last of Us 1 trailer, we're now introduced to clickers. They are confronted by clickers and almost killed. The screen fades to black. This sets up the game. We now know that this is a post-apocalyptic, for better or worse words, zombie game. This is where we get our next bit of major context. After the screen fades to black, we see the two, Joel and Ellie, running, and a voiceover from Ellie saying that this is how they live their lives now, and that Joel used to tell her of what the streets used to be like. That's it! We don't get much else. We don't see gameplay, we don't see why these two characters are connected, and we don't know anything about the journey they're about to go on. Now, because The Last of Us 2 trailer goes quite a bit longer, I won't discuss it too much more in depth. I won't be analysing it to the full degree. But my point is clearly made. The first Last of Us trailer didn't show a lot more context. And like I said, it's much harder to sell a new IP. Surely it should have shown so much more context. Granted, The Last of Us 2 trailer shows its scenes in a much more graphic and intense way. But that isn't the point. I understand The Last of Us is violent, and the trailers are much more violent than the previous game. The point is, they showed it in just as much context. And the fact that it was women getting hurt rather than male hunters does not make this any more inappropriate. I personally thought The Last of Us 2 trailer was a little bit boring, and I was quite confused after it was finished. I didn't know what was happening, and I didn't know what they were trying to tell me. But I certainly didn't think it was misogynistic or far too violent. After thinking about it longer, I started to think that maybe Naughty Dog was being quite clever. The very first Last of Us 2 trailer that we were showing was nothing more than Ellie playing a guitar. She is angry. She wants to kill everyone. Trailer ends. That is all we know. Cut back to possibly her mum, I don't want to speculate too much, but cut back to a trailer that we know nothing about other than a woman is being assaulted, possibly her mum. Could this be a hint at why she's so angry? Has she found the cult that murdered her mother? And with the internet storming with rage and calling abuse against women, have they done something quite clever to make us angry with them as well? Look, that's all just a guess. Maybe it's nothing to do with that. Maybe the trailer was just a stupid decision. Let me give you an analogy, and bear with me for a while because this may seem a little unrelated. But what did you think of my mustache? Did you think that I got up and shaved this way this morning because I'm absolutely a racist? Or did you look at me and think, why the fuck did that guy shave like Hitler? What is he, an idiot? That was a stupid decision. If you're the first person, you may be the type of person that didn't like The Last of Us trailer. However, if you're the second type of person, you're probably what I consider a normal person, and wouldn't judge someone straight up on their face values or their facial hair. I think this is what The Last of Us 2 trailer is. Whether or not down the line we look at these trailers and understand their context, this was clearly just a bit of a silly decision by a developer that was trying to show their game without giving too much of it away. So, that brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, make sure you leave a thumbs up. And if you have anything to add, please do leave a comment. These videos, like I've said, are meant to spark discussion, and I hope they do. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later. Did you think I was a straight, outright racist, and that I wanted to burn all Jews? Or, okay, I shouldn't say that. Okay, that guy's a bit of an idiot,